Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to News 6 at 3 o'clock. It is a brand new week. It is Monday, but we are talking about some of the same problems we've seen here in the past. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
We know we have these drought issues right now. My name's Matt Austin. We are now watching wildfires take place from coast to coast here in the state of Florida. So let's take you around and show you where these things are. And let's begin in Clay County. Clay and Putnam battling two fires that are combined 3,000 acres. Both are only 5% contained. Evacuations are underway in some parts of north of Palatka there. It is suspected the Clay County fire started after a train sparked on the tracks. Firefighters are prepping for a long few days to come.
This fire is not going to go out overnight. It's going to burn for days.
And while these massive fires continue to burn, it's not just contained to North Florida. We're worried about it, too.
Yeah, we certainly are. That's why we have our meteorologist, Julie Broughton, joining us now to tell us what the threat here and what the possibility is here for us in Central Florida. Julie.
Well, first of all, we're heading into the peak of wildfire season. As we move through April, this is typically a very dry time of month. We, of course, had that front go through late yesterday into today, and you've probably noticed the winds picking up behind that. So here's the setup for you. Let's look at the water vapor imagery. This shows us the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. There is our front to our south. You can see that drier air beginning to work into North Florida. So even you can just tell by looking outside that really dry air, not here yet, but look at these strong winds. They are bringing in that drier air. And also when we're talking about winds gusting up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour, that can really help spread those fires quickly, especially when we're talking about that dry vegetation we have in place. And when we have those watches and warnings for fires issued, that's based on relative humidity. So this is for tomorrow. Tomorrow, all of our areas except for along the coast will be under a red flag warning. And I want to show you, so here's a look at starting tomorrow morning. So we're talking about relative humidity. That's basically how much moisture is in the atmosphere. And so in the morning, the relative humidity is higher because the dew point depression is lower. But as we go into tomorrow afternoon, some spots will see relative humidity values even into the 20s. So those really anything below like 35% is considered critical. So tomorrow, I think, will be our greatest fire danger day of the week.
It's such a great reminder. You talked about how dry we were and all the foliage that's sitting around because we had that freeze and a lot of people have some of that stuff, debris just sitting around. That is just like it could be a tinderbox when things get out of control. All right, Julie, we'll see you later on in the newscast. Thank you. Well, the impact to Central Florida isn't just from the flames we talked about. Several Amtrak trains were canceled, including an auto train that left at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Now, those passengers were turned around last night, and as of right now, because we just checked, they are still waiting at the Sanford station for their cars. Your Sanford community correspondent, Catherine Silver, has been on this story all day. She'll have reaction from riders coming up at 4 o'clock. But how frustrating for these guys to think you're doing all the right things. I got my car with me, so when I get to the train station, I could just drive off. Well, your car's not there.
You're stuck.
It's a shame. All right. Well, investigators in Orange County are searching for whoever shot and killed a veteran and what his family says was a fight that happened on a basketball court.
Yeah, they told our Orange County community correspondent, Jarrell Baker, that this guy was actually trying to do the right thing.
Haven't slept in 3 days because, thinking about, how my son got killed.
Heartbroken and pushing for answers, the parents of Robert Sheely Jr. say they will not rest until they find out who shot and killed their son.
That's my baby boy and his only biological child, and so it's very hard.
According to the Orange County Sheriff's deputies, 2 men were taken to the hospital Friday night after a shooting around 8:30 p.m. off Weston Point Drive near a Dollar General. Parents say their 25-year-old son did not survive.
He kept trying to help everywhere he went, tried to defuse a argument or fight, and this young man comes and guns my baby down like a terrorist.
Robert served 4 years in the National Guard before being injured in the line of duty and retiring, and he was set to attend Seminole State College this year. The family also says that Robert was shot after breaking up an altercation on a basketball court the day before the shooting.
The worst day of my life by getting that call knowing my son had got shot. And he's not the type of person that's out there. He was at the basketball court. He wasn't at the club. He wasn't in a game. he was where he was supposed to be. That's shooting ball.
His parents say they want the shooter found and held to the fullest extent of the law.
Whenever they catch this dude or whoever he is, he has to get him an account for it. And if anybody hiding him out, you guys got to let him go. Turn him in.
The family plans to hold a vigil on Monday for Robert at the Lake West Point Apartments basketball court at 6:30 p.m. We've reached out to the Orange County Sheriff's Office about the shooting to see if there's any updates on the investigation. As soon as we hear back, we'll let you know. I'm your Orange County Community Correspondent, Jarrell Baker.
All right, so meantime in Osceola County, authorities there are still trying to piece together another shooting. This one killed one teen and hurt two other people. Officials tell us that there was an unsupervised party at a short-term rental in the Davenport neighborhood when shots were fired early yesterday morning. An 18-year-old was shot and killed. Two others were taken to the hospital. Neighbors say these parties are becoming a dangerous trend and they want more security in the neighborhood.
It really makes me feel unsafe. It's like I'm going to watch every corner that I turn down.
Now, we reached out to the company that rented the home, Verbo, about the shooting and their policies about these house parties. They did not get back to us, but we did find it on their website, guidelines for disruptive and unauthorized events. And this is something that we've covered more and more, especially here in Florida, where it's very popular for people to turn their homes into those short-term rentals.
Around here, especially down by Champions Gate near Disney. All right, well, let's move on now. Two people, this is a crazy story. They're facing some pretty serious charges, accused of setting up a guy and then robbing him. So let me give you the details of this. Detectives, they were called out to the Hotel Bel Air on Orange Blossom Trail around noon yesterday. A man staying there said a woman knocked on his door when a man barged in and just started fighting him. The woman went over, stole clothes, sneakers, jewelry, and a few $100 in cash. Detectives talked to Tabitha Bayhat, who said her boyfriend, Otis Benson, told her to go on a date with the victim and leave her phone in the room so that when she returned for it, they could rob him. Both were arrested for burglary with battery and home invasion robbery, but the whole thing is a strange set of circumstances that don't really add up.
That is a story for you on a Monday. Well, a Seminole County city is taking a close look at a golf course in the neighborhood, and they're getting some answers about it tonight. At tonight's city council meeting, leaders are set to approve more funding to bring in a third party to look into the Twin Rivers Golf Club, which the city owns. Oviedo's mayor told us last week some raised questions about the operations and profit margins, the club reports, and they want to open the books.
There are people getting free rounds of golf that aren't being charged, that should be. Is food disappearing? Is liquor disappearing?
Now, aside from the audit funding, the city is also expected to approve a conservation easement that would block construction on the course outside of the golf-related renovations or improvements. The meeting begins at 6:30 tonight, and we'll keep you posted.
I haven't played there, but it's a good-looking course.
It really does look nice,
there. All right, well, the latest round of talks between the U.S. and Iran are now in question as that whole ceasefire is set to expire tomorrow. So everybody's wondering what is going to happen here. And there was some action on this over the weekend. Let's take you to that. Tensions in the Strait of Hormuz escalated over the weekend. U.S. Central Command says the U.S. Navy fired warning shots at an Iranian tanker before Marines rappelled onto the ship to seize it yesterday. The military says it failed to comply with the U.S. blockade still in effect for Iranian-linked ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has threatened to retaliate and says the Strait of Hormuz is closed again. Iran now says the regime doesn't have plans to attend the next round of talks with the U.S., but no decision has been made. The White House says Vice President Vance, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner will head to Pakistan for the second round of in-person negotiations. Pakistan's foreign minister said he spoke with Iran's foreign minister and urged the country to keep these diplomatic efforts going to try to address these issues. But this is one of those things that seems to change by the day, so we'll just have to wait and see what pops up.
Keep a close eye on it. Well, you may recall we just welcomed the Artemis II astronauts back from their trip around the moon. It was a really big deal, but we're already looking forward to the next mission to the moon. We're talking about Artemis 3, NASA and 4. NASA rolled out the largest section of the rocket that'll power the rocket for the Artemis 3 mission. They did that this morning. The top 4/5 of the SLS rocket was loaded onto a barge at that assembly facility in New Orleans. The system contains the liquid hydrogen tank, liquid oxygen tank, intertank, and forward skirt that will soon be delivered to the Kennedy Space Center. NASA is hoping to launch the Artemis 3 mission by the middle of next year. Of course, these dates have changed so much over the years. Meantime, Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket had some issues of its own over the weekend. It was delayed. That launch was delayed 40 minutes yesterday morning for an unexplained hold in the countdown. Its payload, a direct-to-cell phone satellite, ended up in the wrong orbit. The company says the satellite separated and powered on like it's supposed to do, but engineers are still investigating how far off the orbit it is and whether it can be corrected. So can't use that satellite just yet because it's not in the right place.
Yeah, in the wrong.
It needs a GPS of its own. It needs a little satellite.
How many orbits are out there? Yeah, I didn't know. Thought there was only one. All right, still to come, some new rules in effect today about which kind of foods you can buy if you're on government benefits.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how a lot of you feel about that issue and the different ideas some of you have about it too. Coming up.
It's a big change for millions of Floridians who rely on SNAP benefits. I'm News 6's Mark Lehman, and starting on Monday, recipients can no longer use the program to purchase things like soda, energy drinks, and candy. We caught up with people affected by all this, and they told us about how it's impacting their families. What do you think about these changes?
I believe they're trying to keep our society healthier.
We found mixed reactions as statewide SNAP restrictions went into effect on Monday.
The changes is going to affect me in a drastic way.
Many of the customers at United Against Poverty are recipients of the federal food program. Under new guidelines, sodas are prohibited from being purchased with SNAP, including diet and zero sugar versions. Energy drinks are also banned, along with candy and prepared desserts.
For me, I'm hypoglycemic, so I need sweets to bring my sugar up when it drops drastically.
The changes are part of the government's Make America Healthy Again initiative designed to reduce obesity.
Sodas, sugar, I understand the reasoning behind it.
While the intent is to encourage better food choices, some have raised concerns about adding further limitations without increasing access to healthier options.
I go to the corner store, I go to the gas station to buy stuff like that. So it's going to impact a lot of lives.
And as families are navigating the restrictions, those here are grateful for grocery programs like this one to help put food on the table.
Since I start coming here, my SNAP stretches further.
With all of this, the state has clarified what items can still be purchased with SNAP benefits. Meanwhile, United Against Poverty is holding a food insecurity and workforce forum. We posted details about both under this story on clickorlando.com. In Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thank you so much. And those changes to SNAP benefits are the poll of the day for us. We would love to hear from you. We're about to pop a QR code right there at the bottom left of your screen if you'd like to participate. Give us a shout. Let us know what you're thinking. So let's show you what we have up today. We want to know, do you agree with these new restrictions? Right now, most people are saying yes. In fact, 61%. If this were a constitutional amendment in Florida, it would pass. But a lot of people talking about this.
Yeah, they certainly are. And as Matt just mentioned, you seem to, can you put that up again? I can't remember what
61 to 39.
60, okay, so yeah, definitely. A lot of you are saying things about it. So Rachel says it's a nutrition program and that it is not nutrition, so I think it's fair. But Debbie wondered, don't understand how the government can dictate what you eat. Randy chimed in by saying childhood obesity is an epidemic. Junk food is not good. There are ways to eat healthy without being expensive. Meanwhile, Allison says, but are you going to give them more FS? I think that's food stamps, because food that is good for you is more expensive.
That's
most people don't want to give their kids all this junk, but it's cheaper and helps fill them up. And finally, Tammy said, if it were truly about health, they would be going after the manufacturers to remove things that are unnecessary and unhealthy, like the red dyes and the excessive amount of high fructose corn syrup. I think a lot of people they're feeling what Tammy is saying.
Yeah, and it's a fair question. I think a lot of people have. Are we doing good by people buying them, Snickers and Skittles and stuff?
Right,
like
and it's
that.
not all about that, but sometimes it's just convenient to do that. But I
This is true.
understand,
Yeah.
you got to feed your kids. Well, after the break, how much more it'll cost you to go to the most magical place on earth?
That's right. And how long experts say it could be until we see gas prices. We need those to go down so we can afford to go to the most magical place on earth.
I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. It could be quite some time until we see gas drop below $3 a gallon. And the most magical place on earth, that could be getting pricier too. So let's get over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. Maribel, Disney World ticket prices, what is going on? They could cost us more in 2027?
Lauren, Walt Disney World tickets for next year are now available and could cost you more depending on when you go. So Magic Kingdom tickets will go up $10 to $219 on average. It could go even higher around the holidays. Other standard one-day, one-park tickets will remain the same between $119 and $209. Animal Kingdom is the least expensive park, followed by Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Florida residents can expect to save up to 40% though on select 3- and 4-day packages, along with 20% on certain dining plans. The single-day tickets are typically full price, but residents can get discounted park hopper add-ons. The details can be found on Disney's website. Lauren, the key to any vacation, including my trip to Italy this year, save like now, like every day. For spring break 2027, family of 4, $15 a day, save it up, and family of 6, save $22 a day. By spring break, you'll be all right.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, those numbers sound manageable. I appreciate that. Well, we're not going to save any money when it comes to gas prices. It could be a long time before we see that go back below $3 a gallon.
Lower in prices at the pump may not fall below $3 a gallon until next year. Energy Secretary Chris Wright delivered that message Sunday on CNN's State of the Union. It's a change in messaging from 6 weeks ago when Wright said higher gas prices would be short-lived. Daily global oil prices continue to fluctuate around $100 a barrel. And natural gas prices remain above $4 a gallon on average, according to AAA. Around Orlando, they're a little lower, $3.95 for unleaded. More.
Look, I'm not complaining, but it was nice to see it below $4 for once, Maribel. Thank you so much. So look, remember, for the latest money and consumer news, you can always head to clickorlando.com.
These are days I regret not having a car that plugs in.
Yeah, you should.
Regret it so much.
Great.
I know.
About gas
yeah,
prices.
you brag about it all the time. Okay, the Trump administration will begin processing applications for tariff refunds today. A recent Supreme Court ruling struck down the president's most sweeping import tax, saying American importers are owed about $166 billion plus interest. Customs and Border Patrol says that the money will go out 60 to 90 days after an applicant's approval. Now, not all tariffs and parties are eligible for reimbursement at this stage. It's only for some businesses that request them, not individual consumers.
Look, if you're a shopper out there with one of these companies that might be getting a refund, whether or not you see any money back is the open question. There are consumers who are suing some companies to get a refund, but companies are not known historically to lower their prices after these major events. Remember COVID, for example?
Oh, sadly, we do. More than 56,000 importers have already registered, although the Trump administration is signaling that it might try to delay or reduce those refunds.
Wow, what a world we live in where you can be a business, you can raise your prices and say it was tariffs, then you get the money back.
But we don't.
And you keep your prices raised after it's all said and done. Wow.
Seems like you got to the crux of the problem right there.
What a world. That is unreal. All right,
Here we are.
To come. Oh, man, I'm struggling with that one. Still to come, we get answers for one of your questions about an intersection that you're telling us is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, and ahead on the news at 4 o'clock, how volunteers are stepping up to help pets of those escaping a domestic violence situation.
Coming up in the morning, local school districts dealing with rising costs, and it may not be what you're thinking. Why prices for computers are going up and what one local county is doing about it.
Plus, our fire danger is on the rise. Candace will show us the areas most at risk.
Join us for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
Welcome back to News 6 at 3 o'clock. A dangerous intersection led one viewer to reach out to News 6 looking for some answers.
Your Orange County community correspondent, Jana Mano-Halal, joins us live now. She is the Washington Park neighborhood. So, Jana, tell us about this intersection.
Yeah, so I'm at the intersection of Lenox Boulevard and Ivy Lane. That's South Ivy Lane. Now, the interesting thing about this intersection and what is so difficult for residents to get answers about is Lenox Boulevard is in the city of Orlando's district. But South Ivy Lane, that's in unincorporated Orange County, meaning this intersection right here is a part of Orange County. Now, residents here have been confused on who to reach out to, so I looked through Orange County and I found out that residents can ask 311 to get some information about intersections. The biggest issue with this intersection, which is so dangerous, is the resident who called me and talked to me said that they can't have people crossing the road here because there's so much traffic, as you see coming through here right now. The only crosswalk they have is to go up and down South Ivy Lane, but not to get across here. You would have to cut through all of this traffic that's oncoming right here. While we were doing the interview with the resident, we saw about 4 different people cross this road, playing essentially a game of human Frogger, trying not to get hit by the traffic as they simply tried to go across there. He says they simply just want some crosswalks to get across the way.
Hey, see how that lady just went back? That's the way we got to take a chance going across, and all we asking for some paint across the street here.
They said it's been really difficult to get those answers, so we're trying to get those answers by calling 311. I stood out here with, his name is Johnny Harris, stood outside with Mr. Harris, and we called 311 to get some answers. Now, we did put in a request to have Public Works come out here and do a traffic survey. From there, if the area is deemed eligible for a crosswalk, just to get across this small area here, that will go over to the property owners. They will get a ballot to vote on it, and that would need 66% approval to even get started on some crosswalks here. But let me tell you, what we were seeing earlier was pretty dangerous, guys.
Yeah, it sounds like it is no joke, and we know how, you get a bad intersection here in Central Florida and bad things can happen. Jana, thank you.
At least she's drawing some attention to it
Yeah.
there, but certainly looks chaotic. Well, the process of bringing a state-of-the-art facility for Orlando's soccer teams just took one big step forward.
So last fall, Osceola County signed off on an agreement to improve the existing facility at Osceola Heritage Park, among other things. As your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez explains, the club hopes this will bring more soccer fans to Osceola County.
Soccer, it's in our blood.
When this agreement was solidified in November, fans told us they were ready to see more of the Orlando city and pride in Osceola County. This has been a place the club has been training at for a while, but as part of this plan, they've expanded their partnership with the county, and they plan to further develop their capabilities here with the state-of-the-art training facility set to house all of its teams, including Orlando City, Orlando Pride, Orlando City B, and the Orlando City Academy. Tonight, county commissioners will vote to give out the first $25 million in tourist taxes to the soccer club for the work, to give residents more options when there are events at the center. The total investment is valued at least $50 million, which includes improving the training ground, the Osceola County Stadium, and adding mixed-use developments, and even a hotel. Knowing that people will be staying nearby in that new hotel soon has businesses here in the area very excited about the possibility of getting more customers.
Come see us, get your hair done, nails. We have a lot of services here.
Nail tech Jennifer Ruiz tells me she's excited about the changes and how it could impact her clientele.
Sounds pretty good. We can get more people in the area. Having a hotel there will definitely help bring people in if they need their hair done for an event or their nails done, even with the barber, if the guys need anything.
Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so the plan also includes adding a freestanding restaurant right there at the park. So that meeting starts tonight at 5:30.
Interesting. All right,
Really
we'll see what happens with it. Well, state utility regulators were updated on how power companies are going to keep the lights on if, God forbid, a hurricane comes this year. This is what happens every year. We have to plan out these things. So let's take a look at what they're talking about. Many of the state's utility companies told the Florida Public Service Commission how they're going to keep the power on. Big power companies and local co-ops in Florida continue to brace facilities and engage in these mock storm training events, offering no mention of forecasts for a below normal hurricane season on the horizon, because really it only takes one. Company officials outlined general efforts to clear vegetation from thousands of miles of power lines, got to get those trees out of the way, engaged in required pole inspections. They're going to firm up contracts and fine-tune communication, they say.
The investments we're making in our grid are making a difference not only for storms, but also on a day-to-day basis. The reliability investments that we're making, customers are definitely seeing a benefit.
While more forecasters are expected to release models in the next few weeks for the 6-month hurricane season that begins June 1st, initial projections indicate a less active season. Fingers crossed. I'm going to knock on some wood real quick. Last year, the Atlantic season produced 13 named storms, 5 hurricanes. 4 of them reached a Category 3. None of the 2025 storms made a direct landfall to Florida or the U.S. Really, it was a fantastic year.
Don't even say it. I hate saying it out loud. You don't want to jinx it, but the forecast is what the forecast is. So fingers crossed for sure. All right. Well, this next story, you have mixed emotions about it, but a pilot is being called a hero, and when you hear what he did, you probably will agree. His plane went down over the weekend. Doorbell cam shows smoke billowing after the plane crashed in a Pasco County neighborhood. The pilot died, but miraculously, no one else was hurt in this. You see that? Look at how all that smoke coming out there. Each home is only about 5 feet apart. Neighbors say that pilot flew his plane straight down into the ground to avoid significantly damaging any of the homes there or hurting anyone who was on the ground.
It is unbelievable that he could do that and not plow right into someone's house because everybody was sleeping, and you would think if that happened that most of the people in the house.
It's just incredible. The FAA and NTSB are trying to piece together what led to that crash. But, you know, he had to make a decision, and he decided that he didn't want to hurt or tried not to hurt anyone else.
If he hit a house, then some people could die and he dies. Tough split-second decision.
Well, e-bikes are just about everywhere. We talk about them all the time, but as the popularity of these things grows, some communities are taking measures to ban or even restrict them.
Yeah, DeLand is considering just banning these things altogether. Your community correspondent, Jana Manohalal, takes a look at the situation.
I almost got clipped by someone going, again, I can only assume upwards of 20 plus miles an hour on an e-scooter, and it could have easily put me in the ER.
DeLand leaders will vote on new restrictions for e-bikes, including banning them from downtown sidewalks altogether on Monday night. The proposal would also limit speeds to 10 miles per hour on other sidewalks and require helmets for riders 17 and under. For small business owners like Kelly Joyce, the e-bike impacts the customer experience.
On the sidewalks, it does cause harm to small businesses. We're trying to do an event like this today, and having someone drive by or ride by on a motorized vehicle is definitely not what small towns or even, I would say, a big town would want for their sidewalks.
So the sidewalks here in downtown DeLand are already pretty wide, but the roads are single lane and don't have bike lanes. The city of DeLand has already banned bicycles, skateboards, rollerblades, and the e-bikes could be next on that list. Mark Grantham is a regular e-bike user. He tells me he doesn't want the bikes banned, just regulated.
Drives me crazy. Yeah.
Even as an e-bike user?
Oh, heck yeah. It's rude and it's unacceptable. But it needs to be regulated but not banned.
Regulated but not banned.
Yeah.
City commissioners will vote on the e-bike ban on Monday at 7 p.m. We'll keep you updated on their decision here and on clickorlando.com. For now in DeLand, I'm Jana Manohalal, News 6.
All right, well, a serial thief accused of stealing high-end merchandise across the country was just busted. The suspect pulling the old switcheroo.
Yeah, so one of the cases that occurred here in Orange County, they shared that they opened the box and instead of Legos, they found bags of dried pasta.
Wrong Orange County, though, right?
But still. Okay, I don't know who comes up with this, but police in Irvine, California say Jarrell Augustine, would go to Target stores and buy expensive Lego sets. He'd pay cash for them. He'd then go home, open the boxes, take out the pieces, fill the boxes with raw pasta, seal them, and return them for a full refund. Jarrell, my man, just get a real job. That's a lot of work. In all, he's accused of stealing about $34,000 in Legos and selling them on the secondary market. Police raided his home and also found Lego pieces sorted into plastic bins and at least 15 bags of elbow pasta.
The elbow pasta.
The old
I was
elbow.
picturing long spaghetti.
I was the swirly ones, I
That
thought.
makes sense.
Well, police say he's linked to dozens of cases across the country, including some cases right here in Florida. We reached out to investigators in California to see which Florida stores he's accused of stealing from. They would not release those documents to us, but you can bet we're going to keep trying.
You had to know you were going to get caught doing that one day when they finally opened them up.
$34,000 later, though.
That's like 4 Lego sets, by the way, if you go to buy Legos for a kid. Those things are so expensive.
I would rather step on the pasta than the Lego pieces.
Oh, yeah.
The pasta pieces are gonna crunch.
It's easier to
not
step
the
on.
Lego pieces.
It's easier to step on glass than a Lego piece. I can tell you that from the middle of the night at the
Experience,
Austin
right?
house. A wild dine and dash in Flagler County. This one's a little bit different, so let's take you to it. Tortuga's Florida Kitchen and Bar in Flagler Beach posted this video on social media showing the 2 suspects barreling in. Look at that. Those were, it happened fast. There was some deer. They're just going through. This one's having a rough go of it. Officials say nobody was hurt except for a couple of chairs, and everybody's hearts definitely skipped a beat as that happened.
All right, but
quick.
they're dine and dash. They're not hurt, though.
Yeah,
That's the important
and I don't
thing.
think they ate anything either. All right. So I might have oversold that. We're going to get a check of your forecast coming up after the break.
Yeah, plus what local leaders are doing to cut down on some annoying pests before the rainy season arrives when we come back.
Your Monday evening traffic alert, you're going to see those lane closures north and southbound along the Florida Turnpike, so make sure you're paying attention. No big schedule of a shutdown overnight, but you will see construction, especially out here along I-4 between our attractions area just west of the Florida Turnpike. As you approach Sand Lake and 528, you'll see some lane closures there, and then some local stuff out on the east side, east of Cimarron, things along Goldenrod up towards the Aloma area, and then of course some lane closures along I-95 in the central zones of Brevard. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bill Ray Nissan Longwood. We do it the right way.
All right, everybody, take a beautiful look. Look at how nice it looks out there. This is our Daytona Beach cam where I'm sure a lot of people spent time this weekend because it was nice and hot. And then this morning when I went to take the dogs out, it wasn't cold, but it was a little more brisk than I had anticipated.
Yeah,
you warned us.
Right, you could feel that the cold fronts come through. So some cooler, drier air is built in. Now, that beach cam we were just looking at looks so pretty, but keep in mind, rip current risk this week, really high. So if you get in the water, make sure that you stay near a lifeguard. Best bet, though, to stay out of the water. And we are, of course, dealing with a high threat of fires as well. This is a look at the radar scanning out for us. I have the Jacksonville radar turned on. And those returns you see, that's not actually rain. Those are smoke plumes from some fires in Putnam County, some pretty large brush fires in Putnam County. And we do all have a high threat of
the
brush
green
fires.
we were seeing was a smoke.
Yes,
oh my
so those
goodness.
were smoke
Okay.
plumes in Putnam County. One brush fire, I think, greater than 1,000 acres. And so for tomorrow, as even drier air builds in, just about all of us will be under red flag warnings from 11 in the morning until 8 in the evening. Here's what it looks like for you outside right now. Notice we're still seeing some clouds, so that's indicating that the driest air isn't quite here yet. Right now is 79 degrees, relative humidity 48%, and it's going to be even lower tomorrow. Here's a look at our winds, and notice the wind gusts at times up to around 30 miles per hour. So when we're talking about wind gusts that strong, that can spread brush fires that start very easily. It's also helping to transport in that drier air to our north. And as with the next few days, really those winds are going to stay quite elevated until late Thursday and into Friday. Here's our water vapor imagery. Shows us what's happening in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere regarding moisture levels. And notice we're still seeing some of those lighter returns, showing that we still do have a little bit of moisture in place aloft. So that dry air hasn't quite made it in yet, but I want to show you this. So this is a look at the modeling for relative humidity. So we start out in the morning when relative humidity is always higher. But look, by 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, it will be in the 20s in some spots. So for us to see red flag warnings, typically we need relative humidity below 35%. So by Tuesday afternoon, all of us for the interior spots, we're talking about 24% relative humidity possible in the Villages, 29% in Orlando. So we are talking about a dire fire situation. So it is not the time to be burning anything. A lot of counties do have burn bans in place, but even if you're not under a burn ban, this is not the time to be burning. Don't toss your cigarettes out the window.
Please don't.
All the things, because this could be a really bad situation and could get worse a lot quickly. 7-day forecast showing no major rain in the picture. We do have the chance of a few isolated showers Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but unfortunately that is really not going to help with our drought situation.
Yeah, with so many changes coming, the app is a really good thing to download right now.
That's right. All you have to do is search WKMG in your app store.
I know me standing in a dumpster is not the most ideal look for me, but I'm with these tires that have been dumped here because Brevard County is taking the tires from residents to be able to bring them here, treat them for any kind of mosquitoes or mosquito larvae, and then take them over to waste management so they can be disposed of properly. I'm News 6's Jana Manahall, and we're out here talking to residents about how they feel and learning a little more about these tires back here. All that water in there is perfect breeding ground for the mosquitoes, which is exactly what Brevard County doesn't want. These tires you're seeing here may not look like much, but to pesky mosquitoes, where my nail is, it's paradise.
A lot of times it's just tires that they've had in their yard, maybe in their garage. But what we don't want is for them to wind up outside breeding mosquitoes. Mosquitoes have the opportunity to lay eggs in those tires. So by pulling them over here, we can get them out of the neighborhoods.
All the rainwater and the tires filling up and the mosquitoes, it's not safe for us or the dogs.
The collected tires between Thursday to Saturday are treated to kill mosquito larvae before being taken to the waste management system. I would count every single tire that they have here at Mosquito Control to give you an exact number, but Joseph Fayed, the department director, tells me they've gotten quite the amount of tire donations from Thursday to Saturday.
Looks like we hit over 2,500 tires in the 2 days from our 2 locations total combined.
Volusia County also hosted a drive-through amnesty event Saturday, working to keep Central Florida coast clean. While Saturday is the last day for the Brevard County Tire Amnesty event, residents can find out how they can donate their leftover tires over on clickorlando.com. Residents are able to donate 4 tires for free to the Brevard County landfill. For now in Brevard County, I'm Jana Manahall, News 6.
All right.
Well, you guys, it's spring outside. Spring has
Spring,
sprung.
it certainly
yes.
has.
And with that, spring football is in full spring at colleges across the country. So for many programs, it's time to get ready for the upcoming season. But fans of one school fear they've gotten a bad omen.
What's that you
year.
said?
It's a bad omen. Take a look at this video. A Skydiver who was attempting to land on the field at Virginia Tech's game ended up on the scoreboard. Instead, it took about 30 minutes for firefighters to rescue him. Now, the good news here, he was okay. This guy was actually one of 3 parachutists who was supposed to land on the field, but only one actually did. The scoreboard was damaged, unfortunately, during the landing. Don't try that at home.
No, thank goodness this guy was not in charge of where Artemis was landing.
Correct.
Because that was not going to end well.
A little more thought goes into Artemis than this guy.
I don't
You
know.
would
He's
think
got
as a
the parachute.
parachutist, like, those mistakes just don't happen, right? They can't happen too often.
You never see that happen, but
Right.
maybe it was a gust of wind. If you've ever been on a hot air balloon, they don't decide where they land.
No, that's true. That's the wind decides for you. All right. Well, some of the oldest planets or animals on our planet are also among the most important to us.
So what some local volunteers are doing to make sure they are protected, we're going to have that story for you coming up after the break.
Every vaccine or medical device inserted into the human body has been tested thanks to the horseshoe crab. I'm Paul Giorgio in Brevard County. Here's how one small but dedicated group of volunteers is ensuring that this ancient and essential animal sticks around.
Conditions today are really good. You get kind of that mid-teens or so. That's a sweet spot.
Some of us are drawn to the power of nature.
Adjust the sail and the equipment as you go and just stay on foil.
We can harness the wind and it can move us.
How are you guys doing?
Or gather on the shore
Yeah, when I saw the weather.
and marvel at what it pushes in.
They like to come up when the wind is blowing onshore. The horseshoe crabs come up and they'll lay their eggs.
With clipboards and buckets in hand, these volunteers are searching for one of nature's oldest survivors.
We're looking and scanning.
They're part of the Florida Horseshoe Crab Watch.
Citizen science. It feels like I'm helping.
High tides and high winds create the best conditions to find them.
Oh, there we go. Looks like it might be a pair. Yeah, it is a pair.
But these surveys aren't just for curiosity's sake. This ancient animal
They've been around for hundreds of millions of years.
plays a crucial role in modern medicine.
So if you've ever gotten a vaccine, if you've ever had some type of device implanted into you, all of that has to be tested to make sure there isn't any bacteria that are going to harm people once that product goes into you. And so the test comes from horseshoe crabs.
When horseshoe crabs do appear,
All right.
that's when the work begins.
And did she have all of her legs and tips and such?
Volunteers like Lacey Homan weigh, measure, and
Right.
document their condition.
1, 2.
After that, they're tagged before being released.
And all of this will go to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission database.
So far, Brevard County's horseshoe crab numbers appear stable. The power of nature can be more than a steady wind or the sweep of a tide.
Oh, buddy, here we go.
Sometimes it's the quiet persistence of an ancient creature crawling ashore. In Brevard County, Paul Giorgio, News 6.
Such a weird looking little
just
animal, but
fascinating,
yeah,
though,
it's
how
so
important
very
that is.
helpful.
Yeah.
All right, we are getting ready for News 6 at 4.
Yeah, coming up, our Mike Valenti is going to be taking a look at some changes the city of Orlando is making to a DEI program that affects local businesses. He'll have the details on that after the break.
I'm Catherine Silver in Sanford, where Amtrak travelers are stuck in limbo. The ripple effects as firefighters are working to get control of a wildfire burning north of here.
I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton tracking dangerous fire conditions. What you need to know in minutes.
Last year, the city of Orlando suspended a business program amidst concerns about complying with federal law. Today, we learn what the city might replace that program with.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
The dry and windy weather making it difficult for firefighters to get control of a large brush fire in North Florida, and that has messed up travel vacations and lives.
Yeah, the Forest Service says around 2,700 acres are burning near the train tracks, leading to cancellations, stranding hundreds of passengers right here in Central Florida. Look at that. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, is at the Amtrak station in Sanford this afternoon getting answers. Catherine, what are the people there saying?
Well, they are frustrated, not only because of the money they have spent, but also the time. Now, we have spent the day talking to passengers who were turned around and then dropped here in Sanford overnight to wait for their cars. A train with their vehicles showed up this afternoon and just started unloading, and people started leaving. You see the cars coming out now. They started about 30 minutes ago with this process. We spoke to passengers while they were still stuck in limbo. The Amtrak station in Sanford turned into a waiting room.
I just would have thought when we got here we would have had our cars offloaded already because we've been here since 3 o'clock this morning.
Julie Bonser says she booked the auto train with plans to visit Virginia. Now she doesn't know when her vacation will begin.
We got over here at 11:30 yesterday to get our car on the train. We went a couple hours north and we got as far as Palatka train station and found out there was a fire going on. They had us sitting there hoping they were going to be able to clear the tracks and be able to let us go through. So we sat there for like 2.5 hours.
Hours standing by turned into a trip back to Sanford overnight. When we met Bonser, she was one of hundreds dealing with the disruption.
We saw the ashes falling. We smelled the smoke in the car.
Chrissy Summers says she barely slept. She wants to get home to Massachusetts, but she needs her car back to get there.
I'm able to drive home, making these hotel stops. I'm okay, I will make peace with it, but there's a lot around me that they are struggling. They booked this in advance. They knew that they couldn't make that drive, and they have to go through with the gas, the hotel stay.
We have 2,000 miles to go.
Deborah Arke says she booked a hotel she now won't be able to stay at, and she doesn't know when she'll make it to Toronto.
We've all got reservations made and lots of plans.
It's costing time and money, and these travelers just want to get back on track.
We don't know who's going to pay for anything, if anybody's going to pay for anything, and what are our options.
Here's the latest from Amtrak. 6 of their trains have been impacted in some way from this wildfire. We have all of them listed on clickorlando.com. A spokesperson tells me the passengers who booked the auto train, who were then turned around and sent here to Sanford, will be refunded and also given travel vouchers. I'm live in Sanford. Catherine Silver, News 6.
What a hassle. All right, Catherine, thank you. Let's take a live look now, or a look at the wildfire map from the Florida Forest Service. You can see there are several active ones across the state right now, including a really big one just south of Osceola County. The dry and windy weather increasing the fire danger.
Meteorologist Julie Broughton joining us now with what is going on outside. It did seem like cloudy out there today,
right?
But we don't have a lot of rain.
Right, there's no rain out there right now. It is cloudy, which indicates that the driest air behind that front that went through isn't quite here yet, but it will be tomorrow, and that's when our fire danger threat goes up even a little bit more. So I'll start you out with a look at the radar. Again, I'm not showing you this to show you any rain, but we just took a look at that wildfire map across the state of Florida, and this green you see up in Clay County, that shows us where a smoke plume is from some of those large fires up in that area. Here is our map for tomorrow, where you can see just about all of Central Florida will be under red flag warnings from 11 o'clock tomorrow morning until 8 o'clock in the evening. That is because our relative humidity values are going to drop even lower than they are right now. Here's the water vapor imagery. This shows us the moisture levels in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. Lisa mentioned seeing some clouds out there. That's because we still have some moisture hanging around. But notice this orange to our north. That is that drier air that is continuing to sink to the south thanks to those strong winds coming in out of the north, transporting that air into Central Florida and again increasing increasing our fire risk. And also look at the gusts here. So we're talking about 23-mile-per-hour wind gusts for those of you in Kissimmee, 29-mile-per-hour gusts in Daytona Beach. So when we're talking about winds this strong, any fires that do start will be able to spread for us pretty quickly. Here's a live look outside for you right now. This is our Light Orlando delivering hope together camera over downtown Orlando. Starting to see a little bit of blue sky, indicating some of that drier air is sneaking into the area. But again, I think we'll see nearly full sunshine tomorrow. And along with that, those relative humidity values will plummet, which is why we have those red flag warnings in place. We'll talk more about that. We'll take a look ahead to the next 7 days and tell you when we have our next best chance of rain. All that's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Julie, thank you. Well, the man accused of shooting and killing a dog owner will be staying in jail. He's being held without bond. News 6 anchor Matt Austin joins us now live from the newsroom. And Matt, we're learning new details on what led up to this chaotic scene.
That's a fair way to put it. We told you about this on News 6 at 4 on Friday, but 43-year-old Matthew Pasco wasn't booked into the Lake County Jail until last night. Investigators say Pasco was attempting to shoot a dog that was attacking a woman near a homeless camp along Griffin Road on Friday in Leesburg. Court documents show when the dog's owner tried to interfere, a witness told investigators Pasco threatened to shoot him too. A dog also died and another was hurt. The 911 calls reveal that chaotic scene.
What's going on?
There's a gunshot wound now.
Okay, so there's 2 patients now?
Yes, ma'am.
So the shooting prompted a lockdown at Carver Middle School across the street. A nearby homeowner whose daughter attends that school says the situation was pretty scary.
Just hearing a shot, you don't know where it's coming from. You know, over here, over there.
Now, deputies say Pasco ran away from the scene. They found him yesterday and arrested him. He's now facing a charge of premeditated first-degree murder. Ginger.
Matt, thank you. In Volusia County, deputies say a 75-year-old man drowned after getting caught on a rope and falling into the water. It happened Saturday morning on a boat dock on Shore Lane. The Volusia Sheriff's Office says the victim, Jerry Capo, was preparing to go boating. BSO said someone found his body in the water between 2 boats and that his leg was caught on a rope used to secure the boat to the dock. Investigators ruled his death an accident. Now to a dangerous scene in New Smyrna Beach where a fire ripped through part of a business there. In the video, you can see the intense flames when crews got to the Ready Ice plant near Industrial Park Boulevard. Firefighters initially got reports of multiple explosions at the business, then arrived to find 5 semi-tractor trailers on fire. Crews were able to put out those flames. Now, no one was hurt. Firefighters say right now they don't know what caused the fire. If we get any updates, we'll let you know.
Just in the past hour, we learned the city of Orlando is replacing its Women and Minority Businesses program. It's been suspended since last May. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti was there for the vote. He joins us live outside City Hall. So, Mike, how did we get to this point today?
So, Lisa, probably the most concise answer really is President Donald Trump. That is because within hours of taking office last year to begin his second non-consecutive term, the president issued an executive order, quote, ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. This was part of a campaign pledge targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, better known by the acronym DEI. And last May, the city of Orlando announced it would end its minority and women business program to try to avoid non-compliance with Trump's executive order. Now, the MWBE program here was established in Orlando and served to help businesses owned by women and minorities procure more contracts with the city. Earlier today, I spoke with an owner who benefited greatly from the program.
The reality of that program is you still had to work. You still had to be qualified. You still had to get in here and know your business and build relationships, but it brought people to the table. I tell anybody, once again, if DEI scares you, you may want to look inward.
Okay, so again, that program is officially gone after the city suspended it last May. Taking its place, per the vote today, is a program that city commissioners believe will not run afoul of federal guidance. More on that program tonight at 5:30. For now, outside Orlando City Hall, I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti. Back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you. Today, leaders in Orlando approved an important step in a project aimed at improving Lake Eola. At this afternoon's council meeting, members approved a contract for a $60 million project for the park. It comes after Orlando leaders surveyed residents in 2020 and found areas that could use improvement. Mayor Buddy Dyer briefly spoke about how the city plans to execute the project.
Key components, we're not doing everything on the master plan all at once, but the first three things that we are doing is relocating the Swan Boat dock to a location near the Eola House, constructing a walkway behind the amphitheater, and doing a bunch of drainage improvements that you won't necessarily see, but are probably the most important things that we're doing.
The plan includes adding a shaded area to the amphitheater, a new family zone, and expanded playground. Well, for abuse survivors, leaving can mean leaving a pet behind.
One Central Florida program makes sure they do not have to. We'll show you how some local businesses are helping those pets shed their past.
After fighting to stop a fire station from being built in a park, this new sign tells neighbors that Melbourne's rethinking those plans, and so now some of them are worried all over again.
Expect dry and windy conditions, which means we're looking at an elevated threat of fire. We'll break it down and take a look ahead to the next 7 days in just a few minutes.
You're watching News 6 at 4. Here's a live look now at our camera in Daytona Beach. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by True Deals Realty.
Well, for many domestic abuse survivors, leaving can mean making an impossible choice, their safety or staying with the pet they love. Harbor House of Central Florida and its Paws for Peace kennel make sure they don't have to make that choice.
Yeah, and as News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez explains, community partners are helping these pets get ready for the next chapter together with the people who love them.
Happy pets make happy owners, and we want to make these gals happy.
Look at your baby. Putting smiles on the faces of domestic abuse survivors by treating their beloved pets. It's that simple for the VCA Piedmont Animal Hospital.
And I feel like us helping the pets gives these women one less thing to worry about.
The hospital has worked with Harbor House since 2017, ensuring pets at its Paws for Peace kennel get medical attention without their owners worrying about judgment or expense.
For them to be able to take their pets with them and leave where they where the abuse or the violence they've been with, and to be able to take that pet is key for them to continue on.
The staff giving each one a chance to survive.
We've done heartworm treatment for some dogs. We've done physical exams, parasite control, heartworm tests, internal parasites.
While the hospital does routine care,
this is a treatment area.
When it's urgent,
It's a chest cavity, the diaphragm.
the Veterinary Emergency Clinic of Central Florida steps in.
And we're here for the community to help those cases that the regular vet can't handle.
The 24/7 Pet ER gets animals in critical need back on their paws. X-rays, blood work, and emergency surgery. They help these pets get through everything from pneumonia to C-section.
Why is it important for you guys to offer your services to the animals that are going to the shelter with the survivors?
Well, it's mostly because we are firm believers in the human-animal bond. And especially when you're giving back to your community and people that are in a very critical part of their own life, and not to be able to take the one loving thing that's been with them through thick and thin, that is devastating.
And once the pets are feeling their best, mother fluffers make sure they look their best.
Our logo is We Give a Fluff, so we care about the animals, we care about the pet parent.
The mobile dog groomers bring the pet spa to survivors for free.
It's really special that they trust us and that they're willing to talk to us and open up to us, and that they trust us with their animals.
A fresh cut and a clean coat helps the pets shed their past too.
So just to give them that, to make them feel like a new dog and let them know that, you know, it's okay. Even if it's just for one day, they're gonna be okay.
I love that so much. So join us this Saturday, April 25th, for the Paws for Peace Walk and Run at Mayor Glenda Hood Park, formerly Harbor Park. Registration starts at 7 in the morning. The run starts an hour later, and the walk is at 9:30. Proceeds go toward the Paws for Peace kennel.
I was out there last year with you, Ginger.
I was, but I didn't run it. You ran it with your kids.
Correct. And my dog.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
I forgot.
dogs are invited.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's a good time.
Yes. All right. How is the weather looking right now, Julie?
Well, Lisa, we saw a cold front go through. That is to our south. So behind that, we've seen some pleasant temperatures. However, we also have dry air and windy conditions, and that means our fire danger is elevated. And that will be the case, especially tomorrow, but really, I think, throughout our entire week. Also, thanks to those strong winds coming in out of the east and northeast, we are looking at a high threat of rip currents. Now, winds today have been gusting up to around 30 miles per hour. Look, as we head into the day Tuesday, we are again still talking about those really gusty winds. Those will begin to back off for us toward the end of the week, but with low relative humidity and those strong winds tomorrow, most of Central Florida will be under a red flag warning. That is from 11 in the morning until 8 o'clock in the evening. Here's a look at the radar for us sweeping out. We're not finding any showers to track, but the green you see up here in Clayton County, that is where we are seeing some smoke plumes from some large brush fires there. So we have brush fires really all over the state of Florida right now, and I do think that that will continue as we head through the next several days. We are moving really into the peak of wildfire season. Here's how it looks up for us right now as we take a live look outside. This is our Daytona Beach sky cam. Notice the blue sky, so that shows us that drier air beginning to move into our northern counties. 75 degrees right now. If you are headed to the beach, do keep in mind that we are looking at that high threat of rip current, so make sure you stay near a lifeguard. 78 right now in Claremont. If you're in Wildwood, you're at 81. 78 in Ocala. Ocala, and it is 78 in Mico. Winds in Mico right now are gusting to 32 miles per hour, and you are seeing 29 mile per hour gusts right now if you're in Daytona Beach. Your hour-by-hour forecast, so you can plan the rest of your Monday. Here is Miss Kitty. She looks like she's having a great day. She is not stressed. She is just out there living her life. 73 degrees at 7 o'clock, 71 degrees at 8 o'clock. Make sure you go to clickorlando.com/pins to share your pet photos with us. Here's the water vapor imagery, so it shows us what's going on aloft when we're talking about moisture. There is our front at the surface that moved through earlier. That is pushing away from us. High pressure building in behind that. And notice all this orange up across South Georgia and North Florida. That shows us that drier air that will continue to ride in along those northerly winds. And so you can see as we head through the next couple of days, all of that brown in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, that is that dry air really taking hold of our forecast. So we'll see a lot of sunshine, but again, with that and with such limited moisture in the soil in our drought conditions, we are looking at that fire danger remaining high, taking you through the next couple of weeks or so. Our precipitation outlook, not at zero, but again, we are not looking at any significant rainfall in the near future. So for tonight, we fall back to 62 overnight in Orlando, 59 if you're in Claremont. Palm Coast, you'll go to 60 and 52 in Ocala. 7-day forecast showing highs will gradually warm into the mid-80s. By the weekend, we will bring a 20% chance of a few showers in the picture for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And look at those highs. By Monday, we'll be back up near 90.
All right, Julie, thank you. Controversy over a proposed location for a new fire station.
9 months ago, neighbors thought they won the fight against the new fire station in their community. Coming up, why they don't want it near their homes and why the fire station fight is back. A live look now over downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera. You're watching News 6 on a Monday. We'll be right back.
After fighting to stop a fire station from being built in a park, this new sign tells neighbors that Melbourne's rethinking those plans, and so now some of them are worried all over again. I'm your Melbourne community correspondent, James Sparvero.
So now here we are back to square one.
After Mayor Paul Alfrey and the City Council rejected the proposal last summer,
I'm not supporting this.
Denise Ketchum told me she thought the issue was settled. Neighbors like Denise and her husband Mark, who I met in my first story, can see Jimmy Moore Park from their backyards and say they don't want to trade that peaceful green space for a large new fire station, even if the city's outgrown the 60-year-old fire station that's next to the park. How's it feel to be going through all this again?
Ugly. Just ugly.
At the open meeting Monday night from 5:30 to 7:30 at City Hall, Denise might be a little more hopeful when she hears the city is also considering building that large new fire station here by the Muscle Car Museum near Sarno and Wickham Roads. There's no homes here, but unlike the park, the city would have to spend $1 million to buy this land. The city says the park location would be the cheapest, need the least amount of permitting, and by a few seconds, be the fastest for response times. I know the Jimmy Moore Park location checks a lot of the boxes.
Yeah.
But to tell people that we still might build this fire station close to your homes, they feel like that might not be taking their feelings into consideration.
Sure. If our community would not rather us be somewhere else, then that's what the council has to decide.
They need to dig deep in their pockets, buy some property a little farther, a mile down the street. The fire station goes up. I am no longer going to live here, period.
All right, and so after Monday night's discussion with neighbors, which no action will be taken on, the fire chief told me he thinks the council might vote again as soon as next month. We'll let you know as soon as we find out. In Brevard County, I'm your Melbourne community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Sweeping changes have hit SNAP benefits in Florida with some of the toughest restrictions in the country.
What is now off limits and the health and access concerns over it. That's next.
I'm Mona Reed and Pearson, the Fern capital of the world. We're coming up. We are going inside the farms to show you how they're gearing up for Mother's Day and why they say they need the holiday this year to keep their doors open.
Welcome back. We are following several top stories right now.
A fast-moving wildfire in North Florida is now disrupting travel and vacations right here in Central Florida. Passengers who booked Amtrak's auto train say their trips were cut short after smoke and flames near the Clay County-Putnam County line forced a sudden turnaround. Nearly 3,000 acres are burning in the area with little containment. In Lake County, the man accused of shooting and killing a dog owner will stay in jail on no bond. The shooting happened Friday, but deputies did not book Matthew Pasco into the jail until last night. He's now facing a charge of premeditated first-degree murder. The city of Orlando just decided to replace a program that helped women and minority businesses. Council members approved the measure today. The city first suspended the program last May in order to avoid not complying with President Trump's executive order cracking down on DEI. Taking its place is something the city believes will not conflict with federal guidelines.
Farms in the Fern capital of the world are busy getting their greens ready for Mother's Day bouquets. But this year, they are struggling. 80% of the greenery you see in bouquets in the United States and Canada are from Volusia County. And the cost of it has skyrocketed. So will you pay more this year? Your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed is at a farm in Pearson.
The Fern Farm workers here in the Pearson area are busy at work collecting the ferns and the other greeneries that will go into those bouquets you get for Mother's Day. Now, the owner of this farm told me that they need the money from this holiday this year. He says one more wrench thrown into their business this year could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Right now, we're in a little bit of a crunch window because stuff is getting ready for Mother's Day. But because labor is in short supply, we're having a hard time getting everything harvested.
David Register is with Fern Trust Incorporated, a family business he is pushing to keep alive. They lost product in January when temperatures hit well below freezing for several days.
I lost some Easter Day sales and that time between Easter and Mother's Day because stuff wasn't getting ready quite soon enough.
Now they're dealing with high fuel, fertilizer, labor costs. Even the price of these boxes they ship the greens in, he says, is up 10%. Register says they lock in their contract prices with wholesalers around the country and Canada well in advance, meaning when cost goes up to do business.
Basically having to eat a lot of those because the pricing for the holidays already had been set.
With many farms expecting not to have the surplus from the holiday sales this year, Register says that could break some.
It pushes farms to being right on the brink of if anything else goes wrong, they won't be here. So now what are we coming up into? Hurricane season.
So Register tells me when you go to the store this year or to the flower shop to get the bouquet, you may notice that prices are a bit higher. He says that is because of the middleman. He says the farmers never see that money coming back into them from the price increases because of those contracts they set. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Now to a live look at stocks after the closing bell. Stocks closed slightly lower today amid concerns about the Iran war. The Dow down just 4 points, slipping less than 0.1%. The S&P fell 0.2% from its all-time high. The Nasdaq lost 0.3%. And when it comes to gas prices, the national average is now sitting at $4.04. Florida's average for a gallon of regular is $3.99. People in Flagler County, though, are dealing with the most expensive average in Central Florida, sitting at $4.02 a gallon. With the fragile ceasefire between the United States and Iran set to expire tomorrow night, there is a lot of uncertainty on what will happen next. Leaders in Iran say they have no plans to attend peace talks in Pakistan with U.S. negotiators, including Vice President J.D. Vance. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
Pakistan's capital of Islamabad is preparing for a second round of peace talks this week between the U.S. and Iran, but it remains unclear if in-person negotiations will move forward. Iran says it doesn't plan to attend, and in a social media post, the country's president says a deep mistrust of the U.S. remains.
Anybody who has dealt with the Iranians will tell you it is often 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. They're incredibly slippery. They can't be trusted.
Tensions escalated this weekend in the Strait of Hormuz.
We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Video from U.S. Central Command shows the seizure of an Iranian tanker that failed to comply with the U.S. blockade. The U.S. Navy fired warning shots before Marines rappelled onto the ship Sunday. Iran has threatened to retaliate, and over the weekend, ship tracking sites reported Iranian forces firing on at least 2 commercial vessels in the strait.
Iran has called the U.S. blockade an obstacle in negotiations, along with what it calls excessive demands by the U.S.
President Trump on social media said the United States is offering a fair and reasonable deal, but warned if Iran doesn't take it, the U.S. will knock out every single power plant and bridge.
Bridges, power plants that are run by the IRGC, which runs the entire military, are absolute legitimate military targets.
The president has said he's not likely to extend the ceasefire if there isn't an agreement. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Summer air travelers face yet another inconvenience tied to the war in Iran. Air Canada says it is suspending 6 routes because jet fuel prices have roughly doubled. They include flights from Toronto and Montreal to JFK. That starts June 1st. The other affected routes are between cities within Canada. In a similar move, both Delta and United have also announced they will be cutting flights. None of the routes depart from Florida, though. Now to a house party at a vacation rental home that ended in a deadly shooting. Today, investigators say they are still searching for the shooter. It happened early Saturday on Somerset Hills Drive in Davenport. That's off US 27 north of I-4. Deputies say the house was rented out on Verbo. Now, they say several people were at the home at the time. An 18-year-old died in the shooting while 2 others are in the hospital. Neighbors told us these parties are becoming a dangerous trend.
It really makes me feel unsafe. It's like going to watch every corner that I turn down.
And just a month ago, we told you about a 17-year-old who died at a house party. That one was at an Airbnb on Shanty Drive near Kissimmee. So far, investigators have not said if they arrested anyone in that case either. They did say they have spent the past month keeping an eye on house parties and telling people to leave when they see one happening. If you have any information, you can call the Osceola County Sheriff's Office or Crime Line at 800-423-TIPS. In just a few hours, family and friends will hold a vigil for a 25-year-old guardsman who was shot and killed. His parents say it was all over a fight at a basketball court Friday night near Weston Point Drive in Orange County. They say he was just trying to help. Your Orange County community correspondent Jarrell Baker spoke with his family about the devastating loss.
Haven't slept in 3 days because, thinking about how my son got killed.
Heartbroken and pushing for answers, the parents of Robert Sheely Jr. say they will not rest until they find out who shot and killed their son.
That's my baby boy and his only biological child, and so it's very hard.
According to the Orange County Sheriff's deputies, 2 men were taken to the hospital Friday night after a shooting around 8:30 p.m. off Weston Point Drive near a Dollar General. Parents say their 25-year-old son did not survive.
He kept trying to help everywhere he went, tried to defuse an argument or fight, and this young man comes and guns my baby down like a terrorist.
Robert served 4 years in the National Guard before being injured in the line of duty and retiring, and he was set to attend Seminole State College this year. The family also says that Robert was shot after breaking up an altercation on a basketball court the day before the shooting.
The worst day of my life by getting that call knowing my son had got shot. And he's not the type of person that's out there. He was at the basketball court. He wasn't at the club. He wasn't in a game. He was where he was supposed to be. That's shooting ball.
His parents say they want the shooter found and held to the fullest extent of the law.
Whenever they catch this dude, or whoever he is, he has to get him an account for it. And if anybody hiding him out, you guys got to let him go. Turn him in.
The family plans to hold a vigil on Monday for Robert at the Lake West Point Apartments basketball court at 6:30 p.m. We've reached out to the Orange County Sheriff's Office about the shooting to see if there's any updates on the investigation. As soon as we hear back, we'll let you know.
Well, Florida now has some of the toughest restrictions in the country for SNAP benefits. Starting today, people who rely on the program can no longer buy things like sodas, candy, energy drinks, and desserts. The changes are part of the government's Make America Healthy Again initiative designed to reduce obesity. Many of the customers at United Against Poverty are recipients of the federal food program. While the intent is to encourage better food choices, some have raised concerns about adding further limitations without increasing access to healthier options.
I believe they're trying to keep our society healthier.
For me, I'm hypoglycemic, so I need sweets to bring my sugar up when it drops drastically.
United Against Poverty is holding a food insecurity and workforce forum. You can find details about both under this story by going to clickorlando.com. And you can also open your camera app, scan the QR code you see on your screen and click the link. It will take you to our poll and our question of the day. Do you agree with new SNAP restrictions in Florida? So far, the majority of you, 61%, say yes. You can also go to clickorlando.com/react and send in your response to our poll that way.
Well, speed caps, helmet rules for teens, and a downtown sidewalk ban. Coming up, the latest Central Florida city considering new rules for e-bikes and e-scooters.
Plus, Orlando's soccer teams could soon get a new training complex, what it could mean for traffic and businesses. Next.
Our Keachbottom drought index numbers continue to creep up. We'll talk more about what that means for our threat of fire in the coming days in just a few minutes.
And as we head to break, did you know there is more to watch on News 6 Plus? Get caught up on Central Florida's news and weather at a time that works for you at 9 o'clock every night. Or go on patrol with Trooper Steve. Get clear on Florida politics from Politically Motivated and celebrate the best of Central Florida with Are We There Yet? With the News 6 Insiders. You can watch it all now. Just get the News 6 Plus app loaded on your smart TV. You can download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Original Mattress Factory.
The process of bringing a state-of-the-art training facility for Orlando's soccer teams is taking a big step forward today.
Yeah, last fall, Osceola County signed off on an agreement that will improve the facility at Osceola Heritage Park. Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez explains what to expect from the major development.
Soccer, it's in our blood.
When this agreement was solidified in November, fans told us they were ready to see more of the Orlando City and pride in Osceola County. This has been a place the club has been training at for a while, but as part of this plan, they've expanded their partnership with the county, and they plan to further develop their capabilities here with a state-of-the-art training facility set to house all of its teams, including Orlando City, Orlando Pride, Orlando City B, and the Orlando City Academy. Tonight, county commissioners will vote to give out the first $25 million in tourist taxes to the soccer club for the work, to give residents more options when there are events at the center. The total investment is valued at least $50 million, which includes improving the training ground, the Osceola County Stadium, and adding mixed-use developments, and even a hotel. Knowing that people will be staying nearby in that new hotel soon has businesses here in the area very excited about the possibility of getting more customers.
Come see us, get your hair done, nails. We have a lot of services here.
Nail tech Jennifer Ruiz tells me she's excited about the changes and how it could impact her clientele.
Sounds pretty good. We can get more people in the area. Having a hotel there will definitely help bring people in if they need their hair done for an event or their nails done, even with the barber, if the guys need anything.
Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
County leaders will be voting on that at tonight's meeting starting at 5:30.
All right, we want to switch over to meteorologist Julie Brought now because we have the forecast, but it's not the forecast that we need.
I know. I mean, it's just, Lisa, I know you always hate the weather. I feel like whatever it is.
My grass is so crunchy right now.
I know, it is crunchy, and we are heading into really a dire situation with the fire threat. We had that cold front go through yesterday, early today. That has brought pleasant temperatures for us, hovering near 80 degrees, but you've probably always also noticed the winds gusting up to around 30 miles per hour, so that is helping to elevate that fire threat. We do have red flag warnings posted for tomorrow, and here's a look at our Keach Byram drought numbers. These are different from the U.S. Drought Monitor. We get that every Thursday morning. We get these numbers every afternoon, and notice they are all creeping up. We have Putnam, Marion, and Sumter counties all in the 500s, Lake County, Volusia nearing the 500 mark. That is where things start to get really critical for us. That is where we see burn bans issued, and this gives an indication of how much moisture is available in the soil. And like Lisa said, her grass is very crunchy. That's the experience a lot of us are having, so we are dealing with a lot of fires. Radar scanning out for us right now, not finding any showers to track. Those green returns you see up in Clay County, that actually shows us a smoke plume from where some brush fires are there. Here's a live look outside for you right now in Brevard County. This is our launch credit union camera at Port Canaveral. Notice we're still seeing some pretty thick cloud cover, and you can see the palm fronds blowing there. We're seeing winds gusting up to around 30 miles per hour, and all the cloud cover shows us that the drier air that is building in hasn't quite reached our southern counties. So as that happens, that is why we have those red flag warnings posted just about everywhere for tomorrow when that dry air really takes hold. Now, right now, if you're in Salt Springs, you're at 75. It is 79 in Denellen. Bellevue is checking in at 78. It is 80 degrees in Winter Haven, 78 degrees right now in Kenansville, and 78 degrees if you are in Lake Hart. Now, we saw the winds blowing in Brevard County. Mico, your winds are gusting to 32 miles per hour. Up in Palm Coast, 22 mile per hour gusts for you, and 24 mile per hour gusts right now in Leesburg. Here's a look at the forecast with the wind. So as we head through the evening hours, those gusts remain very high, especially along the coast. The winds don't back off a whole lot overnight. And then for our Tuesday, we again will keep wind gusts at times between 20 and 25 miles per hour. So again, that is contributing to that elevated threat of fire. Now your hour-by-hour forecast featuring Chloe and Mr. Clark, showing 73 degrees at 7 o'clock, 71 degrees at 8 o'clock. Head to clickorlando.com/pins to share your pet photos with us. Water vapor imagery showing all of this orange. That is what is moving into Central Florida. And again, that is why we'll see a lot more sunshine tomorrow and that higher threat of fires with red flag warnings. No major rain in the forecast for us. We'll continue to warm up. It will be close to 90 by the weekend with a 20% chance of showers Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
All right, Julie, thank you. A vote tonight could change how e-bikes and e-scooters move through a Central Florida city's downtown.
I almost got clipped by someone going, again, I can only assume upwards of 20 plus miles an hour on an e-scooter, and it could have easily put me in the ER.
The new limits that could be coming and what parents need to know. That's next. A live look now at Mount Dora. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, local school districts dealing with rising costs, and it may not be what you're thinking. Why prices for computers are going up and what one local county is doing about it.
Plus, our fire danger is on the rise. Candace will show us the areas most at risk.
Join us for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
Take a look at this list. No skateboarding, bicycles, roller skates, rollerblades on the sidewalks. I'm News 6's Jana Manhall, and we're in downtown DeLand in Volusia County. That list is all the things that are currently banned on the sidewalks here, and city commissioners are now getting ready to take a final vote on if e-bikes and e-scooters should be added to that list.
I almost got clipped by someone going, again, I can only assume upwards of 20 plus miles an hour on an e-scooter, and it could have easily put me in the ER.
DeLand leaders will vote on new restrictions for e-bikes, including banning them from downtown sidewalks altogether on Monday night. The proposal would also limit speeds to 10 miles per hour on other sidewalks and require helmets for riders 17 and under. For small business owners like Kelly Joyce, the e-bike impacts the customer experience.
On the sidewalks, it does cause harm to small businesses. We're trying to do an event like this today, and having someone drive by or ride by on a motorized vehicle is definitely not what small towns or even, I would say, a big town would want for their sidewalks.
So the sidewalks here in downtown DeLand are already pretty wide, but the roads are single lane and don't have bike lanes. The city of DeLand has already banned bicycles, skateboards, rollerblades, and the e-bikes could be next on that list.
Mark Grantham is a regular e-bike user. He tells me he doesn't want the bikes banned, just regulated.
Drives me crazy. Yeah.
Even as an e-bike user?
Oh, heck yeah. It's rude and it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
But it needs to be regulated but not banned.
Regulated but not banned.
Yeah.
City commissioners will vote on the e-bike ban on Monday at 7 p.m. We'll keep you updated on their decision here and on clickorlando.com. For now in DeLand, I'm Jana Manahalal, News 6.
News 6 at 5 is next.
Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
Well, the future of Oviedo's only golf course is up for a vote tonight. It's a move that could protect hundreds of acres or raise new questions about how it's being managed. Coming up, the two big decisions city leaders are about to make. Plus,
I'm Catherine Silver in Sanford, where Amtrak travelers are stuck in limbo. The ripple effects as firefighters are working to get control of a wildfire burning north of here.
minutes away. You can stream all of our newscasts like these live cameras. This is a look at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus. You know we have wildfire, specifically up in the Panhandle. It is extra dry. We're in a big drought right now. The big question is, when could we get some rain? Our meteorologist will talk about that coming up at 5 o'clock. Now at 5.
We saw the ashes falling. We smelled the smoke in the car.
A train ride out of Central Florida turned back around as smoke and flames closed in on the tracks. Wildfire officials say the risk across the state is only getting higher. Plus,
I'm Jana Manahawal in Orange County. How this intersection here is becoming a danger for the people that live here.
and could apartments one day replace a popular golf course in Oviedo? The steps city leaders are taking that could stop development for good. You're watching News 6 at 5.
A fast-moving wildfire in North Florida is now disrupting travel here in Central Florida.
Passengers who booked Amtrak's auto train say their trips were cut short. Flames near the Clay County-Putnam County line forced a sudden turnaround. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, is at the station in Sanford. So, Catherine, you spoke to passengers who booked the auto train only to be turned around yesterday and then dropped in Sanford to wait for their cars, right?
Yeah, and we are talking about hours of waiting overnight and for most of the day. The train carrying their cars didn't show up here until late this afternoon. It started unloading and people started leaving about an hour and a half ago. Most of them tell me they are now driving to their destinations. We spent the day talking to people and hearing their stories, where they're trying to go and the trouble they've had getting there because of that wildfire. They don't know when train service will resume.
We got as far as Palatka train station and found out there was a fire going on.
We saw the ashes falling. We smelled the smoke in the car.
Passengers who booked Amtrak's auto train say they made it as far as Palatka before a wildfire rerouted their travel plans back to Sanford.
The word is that they'll be able to fix the train tracks around Tuesday or Wednesday, but that's just hearsay, so there's no facts quite yet, but the railroad ties need to be repaired from the flames, and it's now grown, so who knows how long this will take.
Nearly 3,000 acres are burning near the Clay and Putnam County line with little containment.
This fire is not going to go out overnight. It's going to burn for days.
The Florida Forest Service says drought conditions, low humidity, and strong winds have led to red flag warnings for most of North Florida Monday and much of Southwest and Central Florida Tuesday.
We've really increased the odds of a smaller fire getting out of control.
We spoke to Assistant Chief Todd Zellers about a recent call in Seminole County.
We had about a 3-acre brush fire down by Lake Jessup. We got fortunate on that one. The wind was blowing it straight to the lake.
And the risk ahead.
During this time of the year, though, we can kind of expect a lightning strike can cause it. Cars can cause it. If you have a trailer and your chains aren't up off the ground, that can produce sparks and cause it. So there's a lot of different things that can cause these fires right now.
Assistant Chief Zellers recommends no open burning, no outside cooking, and making sure that there's defensible space around your home and access for fire crews if needed. He says about 14,000 acres have burned so far in Florida this year. I'm live in Sanford. Catherine Silver, News 6.
Kat, thank you. Right now, wildfires are spreading across Florida, and dry, windy conditions are making them hard to control. A look at the Florida Forest Service map shows multiple active fires burning statewide, including in Umatilla, where crews are fighting a growing 115-acre brush fire tonight. Firefighters are warning with conditions this dry, even a little spark can quickly turn into a dangerous wildfire.
Yeah, not only is it dry, but it's also windy out there right now. Meteorologist Julie Broughton standing by, tracking the conditions for us.
And those winds are going to stay high as we head through at least the next 2 to 3 days. I mean, right now we're seeing winds at times gusting to around 30 miles per hour. So those fires that do start can spread really quickly when we're talking about winds like that. Now, for today, our elevated fire threat mainly is for our northern tier counties. But look what happens tomorrow. Just about all of us will be under red flag warnings tomorrow as some even drier air begins to build in. So we'll have drier conditions, lower relative humidity, and the winds will remain elevated. Here's a look at our winds right now. Now, most of us are seeing sustained winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour, but Micco and Melbourne, you are seeing winds gusting into the 30s. Leesburg, you are seeing wind gusts right now up to 26 miles per hour. Now, we have limited rain in the forecast. We'll talk more about when we'll see our next best chance of rain and when we'll be back up near 90 coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Julie, thank you. Breaking right now, a substitute teacher is out of a job after an incident in the classroom at Lake Minneola High School. That's according to deputies. The Lake County School District confirms the substitute was fired this morning. The incident report says Angela Jordan reportedly acted erratically in class, including yelling, slamming hands, sexually suggestive dancing, and inappropriate sexual comments to students. The sheriff's office says the teacher was cited for a misdemeanor, but was not taken into custody. A student also reported Jordan grabbed the student's head and moved a hand toward her throat. Deputies say the student's parents chose not to press charges. Deputies say the substitute will still have to appear in court as the case moves forward.
We're watching some key court deadlines this week in a case that made national headlines as the teen accused of killing his stepsister on a cruise faces a critical turn in federal court. Today marks the April 20th deadline for defense attorneys for Timothy Hudson to respond to a Justice Department push to revoke his release. Hudson, now charged as an adult, is accused in the death of his stepsister, Anna Kepner. She was found dead on a cruise ship last year. Meanwhile, he's set to appear in federal court in Miami on April 22nd. That's Wednesday for arraignment, with prosecutors arguing he remains a danger to the public. Tonight, Public Works is looking at Central Florida intersection, one in particular for its safety, after a News 6 viewer reached out for help.
People who live in Orlando's Washington Park neighborhood say crossing the street has become a daily risk, especially at the intersection of South Ivy Lane and Lenox Boulevard. When we started asking questions, we discovered something unusual. The city line runs right through that intersection, leaving the responsibility to the county. Now your Orange County community correspondent Jana Manhalal is working to get answers.
In the short amount of time that we've been at the intersection of Ivy and Lenox in the Washington Park area, we've seen multiple people try to cross the street here. Now, it's been difficult for residents to get answers about this intersection. That's because the roads here, Lenox Boulevard, falls within the city of Orlando, but Ivy Lane falls in unincorporated Orange County. So that's who residents need to go to get answers. So we reached out to the county.
Look at this. People crossing the street trying to avoid traffic. That's exactly the danger News 6 viewer Johnny Harris is tired of seeing at the intersection of South Ivy Lane and Lenox Boulevard.
Hey, see how that lady just went back? That's the way we got to take a chance going across.
He says over the years, the intersection has gotten extremely dangerous due to a lack of crosswalks.
Oh, we want some stripes where you can walk safely across the street.
Since the intersection falls under Orange County, that is who Harris would need to reach out to.
Orange County does have a way to get traffic issues resolved by calling 311. So that's exactly what we did with Harris. Hi, Richard. My name is Jana Manhalal. I'm calling from WKMG News 6 here in Orlando. I'm on a story here with a concerned citizen. He's a little upset over the fact that he can't get any answers about an intersection here. It's Ivy Lane and Lenox Boulevard.
Harris explained the situation he's been witnessing to the 311 representative.
And we can't get our commissioner to come out and talk with them.
And they worked with us to get a request filled out to have Public Works come out and conduct a traffic survey.
So what happens now? Well, once Public Works does the traffic survey, if the area qualifies, ballots for improvements are mailed to nearby property owners. A minimum of 66% approval is required for the project to move forward. Now, the 311 representative could not give me an exact timeline of when the survey would be completed. So Harris says he'll wait about 2 weeks before calling to follow up. In Orange County, I'm Jana Manhalal, your community correspondent, News 6.
New at 5 now, DeLand man already on probation for drug trafficking is back in custody after police say new tips led them right to his door. The DeLand Police Department, working with State Attorney's Office, executed a search warrant this morning at a home on West Minnesota Avenue. Detectives say they took Myron Vigil into custody. He was arrested last year on fentanyl trafficking charges. Investigators say the new search was triggered after community tips reported possible drug activity violating his probation terms. Vigil now faces new charges, including fentanyl trafficking and meth distribution related offenses. 2 people are under arrest in Orange County after investigators say a date ended with a violent home invasion. Deputies say a man was lured to a room at the Hotel Bel Air only to be robbed. That's right near the Florida Mall off OBT. Investigators arrested Otis Benson and Tabitha Bayhot, accused of setting up the attack. Deputies say Bayhot met the victim on a date, then helped block the door while a man wearing a gas mask forced his way inside. Authorities say the suspects fought with the victim, stole cash and other things, damaged his phone before taking off. Both now face serious felony charges, including home invasion, robbery, and burglary with assault.
If you live in Oviedo, a big decision tonight could shape the future of the city's only golf course and the land around it. The city has owned Twin Rivers Golf Club since 2017, but now council members are taking up two major issues. One, a conservation easement that could permanently block development on the property. The other, more funding for a financial audit into how the course is being run. Your Oviedo community correspondent Mark Lehman is taking a look at what it could mean for the property's future.
The items Oviedo is addressing are separate issues, but important matters for the golf course here. The city making sure this property is protected and the business's finances are on the up and up.
Now Oviedo is set to approve more funding for the third party looking into the company running the city-owned course.
Our internal staff doesn't know enough about golf course operations to know if we are doing things in a way that is customary or that may be padding the books.
Mayor Megan Sladek says the audit was launched after questions were raised about profit margins.
There are people getting free rounds of golf that aren't being charged that should be. Is food disappearing? Is liquor disappearing?
Meanwhile, Oviedo is also on the verge of protecting the property against redevelopment.
Before the restrictive covenants are in place, City Council could just change the zoning. We could change the zoning to say apartments can go here, and that's wrong.
The council is set to approve a conservation easement over Twin Rivers. Sladek has been pushing for the measure ever since Oviedo bought the course in 2017. It means building will not be allowed on the 310 acres outside of golf-related renovations or improvements.
We told people we were going to not build on it if we bought it, so we need to make good on that promise.
The city manager has recommended the council pass both of the measures affecting Twin Rivers. That vote will be happening during a meeting Monday night at 6:30. In Oviedo, I'm your community correspondent, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Well, new at 5 now, a state audit is raising new questions about safety and oversight in Brevard Public Schools. According to our news partners at Florida Today, the audit shows some school resource officers and guardians did not complete required mental health crisis training. The report also found problems with how the district handled misconduct cases, including delays in reporting and missing documentation for terminated employees. Auditors say there were issues with record keeping, purchasing card oversight, and even over-reported adult education hours. The district says it has already started making changes, but some concerns remain under review.
And as that audit raises questions in Brevard, another school district is dealing with a major error of its own. The Volusia County School District tells us thousands of employees are now dealing with incorrect tax forms. The district says about 7% of staff received W-2s with reporting errors linked to a payroll system switch last year. Officials say the issue was caught internally and no employees flagged it first. Now the district says it is taking full responsibility and promising to cover all the costs to fix it, including reimbursement for employees who have to fix their taxes. Volunteers along Florida's coast are tracking horseshoe crabs, some of the oldest living species on Earth.
But this isn't just about what they find on the beach. Coming up, the surprising role these creatures play in modern medicine and why their survival matters more than you think.
Every vaccine you've ever received and every medical implant inserted into a human body was tested thanks to the horseshoe crab.
Now, a small but dedicated group of Brevard County volunteers is working to make sure this ancient and essential creature sticks around. News 6's Paul Giorgio has the story.
Conditions today are really good. You get kind of that mid-teens or so, that's a sweet spot.
Some of us are drawn to the power of nature.
Adjust the sail and the equipment as you go and just stay on foil.
We can harness the wind and it can move us.
How are you guys doing?
Or gather on the shore.
Yeah, when I saw the weather.
And marvel at what it pushes in.
They like to come up when the wind is blowing onshore. The horseshoe crabs come up and they'll lay their eggs.
With clipboards and buckets in hand, these volunteers are searching for one of nature's oldest survivors.
And we're looking and scanning.
They're part of the Florida Horseshoe Crab Watch.
Citizen science, it feels like I'm helping.
High tides and high winds create the best conditions to find them.
Oh, there we go. Looks like it might be a pair. Yeah, it is a pair.
But these surveys aren't just for curiosity's sake. This ancient animal
They've been around for hundreds of millions of years.
plays a crucial role in modern medicine.
So if you've ever gotten a vaccine, if you've ever had some type of device implanted into you, all of that has to be tested to make sure there isn't any bacteria that are going to harm people once that product goes into you. And so the test comes from horseshoe crabs.
When horseshoe crabs do appear,
All right.
that's when the work begins.
And did she have all of her legs and tips and such?
Volunteers like Lacey Homan weigh, measure, and document their condition.
1, 2.
After that, they're tagged before being released.
And all of this will go to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission database.
So far, Brevard County's horseshoe crab numbers appear stable. The power of nature can be more than a steady wind or the sweep of a tide.
Oh, buddy, here we go.
Sometimes it's the quiet persistence of an ancient creature crawling ashore. In Brevard County, Paul Giorgio, News 6.
They really are
So
incredible
cool.
creatures. All right, meteorologist Julie Broughton joins us now. We had pretty great weekend. Little hot, I'm sure Lisa would say. But not perfect, but it's been nice weather.
Yesterday was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice weekend. Now, we did have a front go through, and that front is to our south. Behind the front, if you've been outside today, you know, the temperatures feel cooler, and also you've probably noticed the winds. That is all contributing to our elevated fire threat this week. And in fact, tomorrow we have red flag warnings posted everywhere except for along the immediate coast. Right now, we have a red flag warning posted for Marion County. And because of those winds, we are looking at beach and boating conditions continuing to deteriorate this week. So a high threat of rip currents, and then we're in the low 80s for the first part of the week. By the weekend, we will be closing in on 90 once again. Here's a look at the radar scanning out for us again. We don't have any rain in the picture right now. These green returns you see up in Clay County, that is actually from smoke plumes up there because of some wildfires. And so fire is going to continue to be our primary concern as we head through the next several days. So I want to show you what's happening tomorrow. So we start the clock tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, of course, in the morning, just because the dew point depression is low. That is where we will see the lowest relative humidity. But watch what happens as we head into the afternoon hours. Heat things up. Drier air continues spilling into central Florida. We are looking at relative humidity values across the entire area, generally in the high 20s. So for us to see those red flag warnings issued, typically we have relative humidity values lower than 35%. So that is why we are so concerned as we head through the next couple of days. Here's what it looks like for you right now as we take a live look in Daytona Beach. A lot of blue sky out there showing that some of that drier air beginning to work in. 73 degrees right now, and the winds are coming in out of the north at 22 miles per hour. Because of those strong winds, again, we do have that high threat of rip currents in place along our coast. We're looking at surf around 4 to 7 feet as we head through the next couple of days. So make sure you are hanging near a lifeguard. Right now, wind gusts in both Mico and Melbourne are at 31 degrees. A little bit calmer winds the farther west you go, but even into Wildwood, you're still looking at wind gusts around 21 miles per hour. In Wildwood right now, you're at 77, 75 in the Villages. Daytona Beach, you're at 73, and it is also 73 in DeLand. Your hour-by-hour forecast featuring Nemo, and I love everything about Nemo. I love his ears, I love his expression, I just think he's wonderful. 71 degrees at 8 o'clock, 70 degrees at 9 o'clock. Satellite and radar imagery showing here is our front as that sinks to the south. High pressure continues building in for us. That will be the case for us as we roll through the next several days, keeping that threat of fire elevated. Here is your 7-day forecast. 81 for our high tomorrow, 81 again on Wednesday, warming into the low to mid 80s by the end of the week, and then this weekend, close to 90.
All right, Julie, thank you. Thousands of jobs on the chopping block.
Meta is planning major layoffs with AI playing a role in what happens next. Coming up, what these moves mean for workers.
Hey there, I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. FanDuel is hoping to compete with Kalshi and Polymarket. Plus, a major company in the social media space is facing thousands of layoffs. So let's get right over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. Maribel, Meta is now cutting a good percentage of its global workforce.
Lauren, Meta plans to cut around 8,000 jobs beginning in late May, about 10% of its global workforce. Reuters was the first to report on the layoffs, citing sources close to the matter. Now, more are expected in the second half of this year. The company says plans could be adjusted based on developments in AI capabilities in the coming months. Meta declined requests for comment, Lauren.
All right. Now, we can't bet here, and I say it with air quotes, in Florida, but there's all these interesting apps that allow you to sort of get around it. FanDuel is now wanting to reach states where sports betting apps are banned. So how are they doing this?
Okay, sports betting platform FanDuel plans to extend its prediction market reach. It launched FanDuel Predicts late last year It's now in 16 states. The move allows the company to reach users in states where its core sports betting app is banned. So here's the thing, Lauren. Prediction markets are seen as trading products rather than gambling and don't fall under state laws. So FanDuel wants to claim some of the market share dominated by competitors Kalshi and Polymarket. It will also prohibit bets, though, related to geopolitical events like elections or war. The company CEO says the primary goal will be to serve sports fans. FanDuel plans to expand user access to more states soon. But I predict, Lauren, Lauren will have a brand new workout set up for this week.
Oh, I love that. Okay, I'll 100% on that bet. You got it. Maribel.
Okay.
Remember, for the latest money and consumer news anytime, you can head to our website, clickorlando.com.
Well, a major shakeup to SNAP benefits starts today, and it could change what you put in your cart.
Yeah, we're talking about sodas, candy, even some quick fixes are now off limits.
Coming up, the impact some are feeling and why families say it could make life harder. Plus,
last year, the city of Orlando suspended a business program amidst concerns about complying with federal law. Today, we learn what the city might replace that program with.
Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories for you right now. A fast-moving wildfire in North Florida is now disrupting travel and vacations right here in Central Florida. Passengers who booked Amtrak's auto train say their trips were cut short after smoke and flames near the Clay County Putnam County line forced a sudden turnaround. About 3,000 acres are burning in the area with little containment.
In Orange County, people who live in Washington Park called us for help, telling us crossing Ivy Lane is a daily risk. So we and a neighbor got on the phone with the county's 311 service, which prompts Public Works to conduct a traffic survey. If the area qualifies, ballots for improvements are mailed to nearby property owners. A minimum 66% approval is required for the project to move forward.
But tonight, the city of Oviedo will be taking up two major issues that could reshape the future of the Twin Rivers Golf Club and the land around it. One, a conservation easement that could permanently block development on the property. The other, more funding for a financial audit into how the course is being run. Tonight's meeting starts at 6:30.
A major change is hitting grocery aisles across Central Florida, and it could impact how millions of families put food on the table.
Yeah, starting today, people using SNAP benefits can no longer buy popular everyday items like soda, candy, energy drinks, or some desserts. With Central Florida home to thousands who rely on SNAP, the impact could be immediate and for some, personal. News 6's Mark Lehman shows us the changes are already hitting hard for some.
Leaders in Florida say the restrictions help the state better align to SNAP's intended purpose, but there are also worries about access. And we caught up with people affected by all this, and they say how this is impacting their families.
What do you think about these changes?
I believe they're trying to keep our society healthier.
We found mixed reactions as statewide SNAP restrictions went into effect on Monday.
The changes is going to affect me in a drastic way.
Many of the customers at United Against Poverty are recipients of the federal food program. Under new guidelines, sodas are prohibited from being purchased with SNAP, including diet and zero sugar versions. Energy drinks are also banned, along with candy and prepared desserts.
For me, I'm hypoglycemic. So I need sweets to bring my sugar up when it drops drastically.
The changes are part of the government's Make America Healthy Again initiative designed to reduce obesity.
Sodas, sugar, I understand the reasoning behind it.
While the intent is to encourage better food choices, some have raised concerns about adding further limitations without increasing access to healthier options.
I go to the corner store, I go to the gas station to buy stuff like that. So it's going to impact a lot of lives.
And as families are navigating the restrictions, those here are grateful for grocery programs like this one to help put food on the table.
Since I start coming here, my SNAP stretches further.
With all of this, the state has clarified what items can still be purchased with SNAP benefits. Meanwhile, United Against Poverty is holding a food insecurity and workforce forum. We posted details about both under this story on clickorlando.com. In Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
New at 5, an alleged fraud scheme run from behind prison walls in Georgia is now reaching into Flagler County. The Flagler County Sheriff's Office says an inmate inside Dooley State Prison's accused of impersonating a deputy and tricking a Palm Coast victim out of money. Investigators say the victim sent two $500 payments thinking it was for bond and an ankle monitor. Detectives say the funds were traced back to the inmate's prison account, where he later admitted to running the scheme from inside his cell. Authorities say it's a part of a bigger pattern of contraband and corruption behind bars.
A community in Louisiana is in shock after a mass shooting left 8 children dead. Authorities are now working to piece together what led to the horrific violence. It has become one of the deadliest child-related shootings in the state's history. CBS's Jacob Allen reports from Shreveport, where a memorial is growing outside the home.
A memorial with balloons and teddy bears is growing outside the Shreveport home where 8 children were found dead early Sunday morning.
There are no words that can fully capture the depth of this loss. No words that can ease the pain.
Authorities say the first 911 call came in at 5:55 in the morning from a person hiding on the roof of the house, while the suspect, later identified as 31-year-old Shamar Elkins, was inside. About 4 minutes later, dispatch was advised Elkins shot everyone at the home before going to another location.
The caller stated that her boyfriend had shot her, taken her 3 children, and fled the scene.
The shooting spree resulted in the deaths of 8 children, ranging in age from 3 to 11. 7 of them were Elkins' own children. He died during a confrontation with police after hijacking a car and leading them on a high-speed chase.
We are not sure there was an exchange of gunfire. It has not been determined yet what was the exact cause of death.
Investigators say the gunman also shot the mother of his children and another woman, both of whom survived with serious injuries.
Domestic violence is nobody's joke. It is real, and these are the residual effects of what happens if we're not paying attention.
Elkins served in the Louisiana Army National Guard between 2013 and 2020, but did not deploy. He was placed on probation in 2019 after pleading guilty to an illegal weapons charge. Jason Allen, CBS News, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Well, President Donald Trump's crackdown on DEI is now hitting local programs. The city of Orlando has officially scrapped its Women and Minority Business Enterprise program.
In its place, a new plan stripping out references to race and gender. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti breaks down the impact.
Orlando's Minority and Women Business Enterprise program is officially dead. Now, the city did suspend that program last May in an effort to comply with an executive order from President Donald Trump. And on Monday in City Hall, right behind me, commissioners took a vote to replace the program.
It's providing for the creation of small and local business enterprise preference.
In approving an ordinance that governs this small business program, commissioners are drawing a literal line through any reference to women and minority businesses.
In your workplace, you should want diversity. You should want to give people equity, and you should want inclusion.
Kenneth Hughes is the founder of the Paramore-based company Keeping Projects in Motion. He benefited from the Minority and Women Business Enterprise program, and so did his parents.
The reality of that program is you still had to work. You still had to be qualified. You still had to get in here, know your business, and build relationships, but it brought people to the table.
But shortly after he took office last year, President Trump issued an executive order targeting DEI. And concerned that the MWBE could be perceived as an act of noncompliance, the city of Orlando suspended it last May.
When you don't understand the program, you say things like, oh, it's a DEI program.
I, too, am glad to see that we're seeing the small and local business enterprise program moving forward. What I'm distressed by is that women and minority-owned businesses are being singled out and disenfranchised by the federal government, and I think it's disgusting.
So the small business program that's now in place is aimed at promoting the participation of certified small businesses in procurement and contracting with the city. And it does keep preferences for veteran-owned businesses, just no longer for those owned by minorities or women. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Florida's power companies are already bracing for what could be a stormy hurricane season. State utility regulators got an update today from major providers on how they plan to keep the lights on or restore power fast when storms hit. Across the state, utilities are clearing vegetation, inspecting poles, running storm drills, and lining up backup crews. Florida Power and Light says those investments are already paying off.
The investments we're making in our grid are making a difference not only for storms, but also on a day-to-day basis. The reliability investments that we're making, customers are definitely seeing a benefit.
Meanwhile, forecasters say the 2026 hurricane season starting June 1st may be less active than recent years, but officials say preparation is still critical after 13 named storms last year. Utility officials say final seasonal forecasts are expected in the coming weeks. Well, stop bars and stop signs. What are the rules when it comes to stopping at an intersection?
You may have an idea of what to do and what to look out for, but there may be parts you have not heard of before. So today on Trooper Steve on Patrol, Steve goes over the rules when it comes to stopping at an intersection and lets us know how to keep everyone safe.
For example, here, front of my vehicle, I'm going to exit. There's a stop sign, but there's a stop bar on the floor. I'm going to stop here. They want me to stop here. Why? Because there is a crosswalk to my left. So I'm stopping prior to the crosswalk. Then I'm allowed to inch forward a little bit so that I can see what's going on. I'm now yielding to these other cars that are already in the main area. I am waiting. And then part two, I've yielded. Guess what, guys? We're going.
For the full law when it comes to stopping at an intersection and how to stop yourself from getting a ticket and keep others safe, head to clickorlando.com. And you can find this article, Hit the Road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekdays at 2:30 in the afternoon and 8:30 at night on the News 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV or clickorlando.com.
For survivors of abuse, their pets are often their only source of comfort.
Now, a community is coming together to protect that bond. Coming up, how free medical care is giving these pets a second chance and their owners a new way forward. Julie.
Low relative humidity and high winds are combining to keep our threat of fire high this week. We'll break that down and talk about our next best chance of rain coming up in just a few minutes.
First, though, brunch in Florida takes a wild turn when diners got a visit they never saw coming. How two deer turned a restaurant into a runway.
Oh, dear.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
Only in Florida can a brunch sometimes come with a side of wildlife, and they're not even eating it in this case. Diners at Tortuga's Florida Kitchen in Flagler Beach got a shock when two deer bolt right through the patio. Look at this. One of them got caught up in some chairs there. And surveillance video shows the animals tearing past the bar on Ocean Shore Boulevard.
Like how the people are just sitting there, like looking like.
What else do you want them to do, Lisa Bell?
I don't know.
As those chairs come toppling over, one deer, look, yeah, they jump over the tables and out of there. As dangerously close to staff, according to them. The restaurant says no one was hurt, but the uninvited guests definitely stole the show. It looks like one of those open air patios. I think they could just run in.
Bumped into someone there, yeah.
But that chair really had it freaked out. Well, for many survivors of domestic violence, leaving doesn't just mean saving themselves. It means finding a way to save their pets, too.
Now, local vets, emergency clinics, even mobile groomers are stepping up to make sure those animals get the care they need so survivors can focus on healing. As News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez shows us, Harbor House of Central Florida and its Paws for Peace Kennel are keeping families and their pets together when it matters most.
Happy pets make happy owners, and we want to make these gals happy.
Look at your baby. Putting smiles on the faces of domestic abuse survivors by treating their beloved pets. It's that simple for the VCA Piedmont Animal Hospital.
And I feel like us helping the pets gives these women one less thing to worry about.
The hospital has worked with Harbor House since 2017, ensuring pets at its Paws for Peace kennel get medical attention without their owners worrying about judgment or expense.
For them to be able to take their pets with them and leave where they where the abuse or the violence they've been with, and to be able to take that pet is key for them to continue on.
The staff giving each one a chance to survive.
We've done heartworm treatment for some dogs. We've done physical exams, parasite control, heartworm tests, internal parasites.
While the hospital does routine care,
this is the treatment area.
When it's urgent,
it's the chest cavity, the diaphragm.
The Veterinary Emergency Clinic of Central Florida steps in.
And we're here for the community to help those cases that the regular vet can't handle.
The 24/7 Pet ER gets animals in critical need back on their paws. X-rays, blood work, and emergency surgery. They help these pets get through everything from pneumonia to C-section.
Why is it important for you guys to offer your services to the animals that are going to the shelter with the survivors?
Well, it's mostly because we are firm believers in the human-animal bond. And especially when you're giving back to your community and people that are in a very critical part of their own life, and not to be able to take the one loving thing that's been with them through thick and thin, that is devastating.
And once the pets are feeling their best, mother fluffers make sure they look their best.
Our logo is We Give a Fluff, so we care about the animals, we care about the pet parent.
The mobile dog groomers bring the pet spa to survivors for free.
It's really special that they trust us and that they're willing to talk to us and open up to us, and that they trust us with their animals.
A fresh cut and a clean coat helps the pets shed their past too.
So just to give them that, to make them feel like a new dog and let them know that, you know, it's okay. Even if it's just for one day, they're gonna be okay.
Love that.
Good stuff. Yeah. Meteorologist Julie Broughton, we have that fire threat kicking, and we have some wind today, huh?
Yeah, those winds are gusting up to around 30 miles per hour, even greater in some spots along the coast. So as we continue to see dry air building in, and the relative humidity will drop even lower tomorrow, combine it with those winds, and we are talking about that elevated fire threat really throughout the entire week. But tomorrow we do have red flag warnings posted just about everywhere. Those winds will continue gusting out of the northeast, 15 to 20 miles per hour with some higher gusts. And so we are going to be looking at those critical fire conditions through the next several days. Marion County is under a red flag warning today. Most of us tomorrow will be under red flag warnings from 11 in the morning until 8 o'clock in the evening. That means absolutely no burning. You want to watch your cigarettes. Really be careful with everything, because fire can start very easily and spread very quickly when we're talking about winds like this. So our winds today have been gusting up to around 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll see winds still in that range. They'll begin to relax a little bit on Wednesday and looking a little bit better for Thursday and for Friday. Here's what it looks like for you outside right now. So if you're in our northern counties, you're actually seeing some blue sky. But at Port Canaveral, still a whole lot of cloud cover out there that we're seeing on our Launch Credit Union camera. And notice the palm trees out there really blowing in those winds, gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Right now in Port Canaveral, you are sitting at 78 degrees. Mico still looking at 31 mile per hour gusts. Leesburg, you are seeing 26 mile per hour gusts. And if you are in Sanford, you're also seeing winds gusting around 26 miles per hour. Temperature wise, actually really comfortable out there. Most of us today saw a high around 80. Normal high this time of year is 84. So the cold front that went through early today has really cooled us down. 75 right now in Paisley, 75 in Altoona. Jalapa, you're checking in at 77, 78 in Celebration, and it is 78 as well in Webster. Now, here's your hour-by-hour forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
Okay, you need to look at your screen. This is Jasmine, and Jasmine is smiling, and I think it's contagious because I was so happy when I discovered this picture. 71 degrees at 8 o'clock, 70 degrees at 9 o'clock. We'll keep it breezy, and we will keep it dry. Make sure you go to clickorlando.com/pins to share your pet photos. Satellite and radar imagery showing there is our front that went through. Still some showers lingering behind that over South Florida. High pressure building in is our dominant weather maker, and that is going to help to push in all of that dry air you see represented by the orange. So that will take hold tomorrow, and that is why we are talking about red flag warnings posted area-wide. 7-day forecast, we see our highs in the low 80s for the next few days, but by this weekend we will be climbing up near 90 with a 20% chance of rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
After fighting to stop a fire station from being built in a park, this new sign tells neighbors that Melbourne's rethinking those plans, and so now some of them are worried all over again.
Well, a fire station controversy that many in Melbourne thought was over is now back up, and it is heating up again. Neighbors around Jimmy Moore Park say they're shocked to see new signs signaling the project may still move forward. They say they fight these plans before, and they believe they had won until now. That was the previous fight. Your Melbourne community correspondent James Sparvero is speaking to concerned neighbors who say they are once again fighting to protect their neighborhood park.
After fighting to stop a fire station from being built in a park, this new sign tells neighbors that Melbourne's rethinking those plans, and so now some of them are worried all over again.
So now here we are back to square one.
After Mayor Paul Alfrey and the City Council rejected the proposal last summer,
I'm not supporting it.
Denise Ketchum told me she thought the issue was settled. Neighbors like Denise and her husband Mark, who I met in my first story, can see Jimmy Moore Park from their backyards and say they don't want to trade that peaceful green space for a large new fire station. even if the city's outgrown the 60-year-old fire station that's next to the park. How's it feel to be going through all this again?
Ugly. Just ugly.
At the open meeting Monday night from 5:30 to 7:30 at City Hall, Denise might be a little more hopeful when she hears the city is also considering building that large new fire station here by the Muscle Car Museum near Sarno and Wickham Roads. There's no homes here, but unlike the park, the city would have to spend $1 million to buy this land. The city says the park location would be the cheapest, need the least amount of permitting, and by a few seconds, be the fastest for response times. I know the Jimmy Moore Park location checks a lot of the boxes.
Yeah.
But to tell people that we still might build this fire station close to your homes, they feel like that might not be taking their feelings into consideration.
Sure. If our community would not rather us be somewhere else, then that's what the council has to decide.
They need to dig deep in their pockets, buy some property a little farther, a mile down the street. The fire station goes up. I am no longer going to live here, period.
All right, and so after Monday night's discussion with neighbors, which no action will be taken on, the fire chief told me he thinks the council might vote again as soon as next month. We'll let you know as soon as we find out. In Brevard County, I'm your Melbourne community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we're working on for News 6 at 6.
The dry conditions causing headaches for travelers tonight. Coming up, how a fire in the northern part of the state is delaying trains from coming to and from the Sunshine State, and when things could improve.
I'm Jana Manahal in Orange County. How this intersection here is becoming a danger for the people that live here.
And a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.